Hey everybody, Gabby here, and maybe I should actually say other Gabby here, because as I mentioned last week, we are going to be switching from my primary cart, which I want to try and keep at a fairly high level this season on Battle Stadium, to my other cart, which I've conveniently named myself Other Gabby on, and we're going to be experimenting with some really fun teams that I just found around the internet. So this week, I want to highlight a website that I use a lot when I'm trying to do team building, and I want to get a more, let's say, globalized view of what the metagame looks like. This is from LibertyNote.com. Liberty Note is what I would describe as the Japanese equivalent of like Victory Road or Rose Tower or any of the other websites that really aggregate and publish VGC team reports. Most of the team reports featured on there come out at the end of the month once the ladder rankings are finalized, but it's really cool to kind of look over them and see, you know, what people's inspirations are, what kind of sets they're running, how the team performed, all that good stuff. So today's team in particular I picked because I thought it was fun that it had two horses. I mean, why not, right? And I believe it peaked at number 26 on the ladder and number 4 on the ladder, but I'm not 100% sure on my translation on that. So I've included the link to the team report down below in the video description, so you can always check it out there. And it's, again, it really is the double horses that I find interesting about this. You know, Urshifu, Whimsicott are pretty good support options. It's kind of weird calling Urshifu support, but it's really there to deal with a lot of the things that GLASTRIER and SPECTRIER cannot handle. And it's also very offensive. And as you may know, if you've been watching this channel for a while, I do really bad with hyper offensive teams. So because Other Gabby is currently in Pokeball Tier 5, I want to say, and because I like horses, I mean, who doesn't like horses, really? I thought it would be fun to try this team out for a week. Oh, nope, just kidding, Tier 4. I thought I bubbled up there after the last game on Friday, but in fact, I went down. That's okay. In case you're curious, on stream on Friday, what we ended up playing with was a Blastoise Clefairy team that you can find in my Discord. It was built by Cosmos, and it's so much fun, and I really want it to work, but I have Blastoise problems where I fixate on Blastoise, and then that's it. Like, the game is just over because I shouldn't have brought Blastoise. So I'm going to work on that. I'm gonna work on that and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so here we are. This is looks like we're playing against a Sun team with Ninetales and Charizard, so no Torkoal, which is always interesting. Venusaur, Gengar, and Togekiss and Gastrodon are the support options. So, not knowing how this team plays, but wanting to steer 120% into the gimmick, we're going to bring two horses in the back. Because why not? I mean, we're here. We have two horses. We might as well bring both GLASTRIER and SPECTRIER. And then I decided to lead with Specs Tapu Lele, because if we are going to pivot around, you know, switch around to probably to GLASTRIER, honestly, after the first turn. I want to make sure we have enough power to KO one of the fast Sun Pokemon that's probably going to be the lead for my opponent. So I want to say this Whimsicott has Tailwind. Admittedly, I didn't do the thing before we started this game where I go over the moves on the team. I was just talking about the horses. Okay, yeah, so Whimsicott has, I believe, both Tailwind and Trick Room, which is really interesting. We'll go back and look at the team code at the end of this video, so don't worry. We'll do a more in-depth analysis other than there's two horses. Really, you come to this YouTube channel for the pro VGC team analyses, aka there are two horses. I mean, it just doesn't get any more in-depth than that. If y'all still have questions, I don't know why you're here. I'm kidding. Okay, well, enough of me just... I don't even know what that was, really. It looks like we're getting a Gengar and Gastrodon lead. This could be a indication that my opponent wants to try and stop or set up some kind of speed control or something. Knowing that we're locking into a move for the rest of the game, at least for now, for Lele, I do want to switch it out. I'm going to double into the Gengar. Admittedly, I don't have to stop Trick Room here. And, oh, you're Cursed Body. Oh, you're... Okay, well, that's fine. He didn't... I thought he was going for, like, a Trick Room Gengar setup, but that's okay. I was going to say, like... Just getting Gengar out of the way means that I can do my own speed control and I can control how I want this game to be played out. But my opponent rightfully went on the offensive, and it looks like they did not double into Whimsicott. So, okay, this is fine. I'm just going to Tailwind next turn. I was going to say, they rightfully matched my desire to control the speed on the field with, you know, their own removing my speed control, but that wasn't the case at all. So Tailwind here, this is most likely going to be Whimsicott's last turn on the field. I could have actually gone for the Psyshock into the Charizard, but I'm more worried about that Gastrodon. I think that SPECTRIER can handle the Charizard well enough. And I'm more worried about the Gastrodon just being a Pokemon that GLASTRIER just cannot handle. I'm only expecting to get like one attack off of on the GLASTRIER, so by ensuring that I leave the Pokemon that GLASTRIER can handle, then I think we're going to be in a good spot. That all being said, it does look like my opponent has sent out Ninetales, and we're going to take advantage of the fact that Charizard can't fly and does not make contact with the psychic terrain to go for... Actually, no, Fake Tears doesn't even make sense. It's going to drop special defense when, in reality, the Psyshock is dealing off a defense. So let's just drop Ninetales' special defense for when SPECTRIER comes in next turn, and then hopefully this Psyshock will do some nice damage to a not Dynamaxed Charizard. Okay. You know what? This is Pokeballs here. This might be the first battle a day video where we actually do 2 battles. Or I could do an in-depth analysis of the horse team. I probably should do the analysis because then I can link to it on another video and be like, hey, past Cabby talked about this. Okay, yeah, let's get in this SPECTRIER, aka Fantros. Or Fantaros. Oh, that's cool. Phanto, assumingly meaning ghost, and Ross... I have no idea. Maybe horse, maybe some kind of horse. I'm assuming it's horse. I mean, this is where we're at right now. Anyways, 2 attacks into the Ninetales will be able to pick up the KO. I'm fairly confident, even if my opponent does go for Dynamax, which they didn't. Okay, GG's friend, GG's. That was a pretty clean fight, all things considered. And those were the kind of battles that I wanted to play with the Blastoise team on Friday on my Twitch stream, but that's okay. Anyways, let's take a moment to actually go over this team and talk about how it's supposed to be played, because I didn't do that earlier, and we do have the time, and I feel like that's a sign. So this team can be split basically in half in terms of how it wants to be run. One form of that is going to be the Whimsicott with Trick Room, and then the GLASTRIER with the Assault Vest. GLASTRIER has both Steel and Ground type moves to boost defenses under Trick Room and Dynamax, and then Close Combat Icicle Crash to do stab damage. And Close Combat is honestly the best move on GLASTRIER in my opinion for the mirror as well. You don't really want to be using it when Dynamaxed because Max Knuckle actually has a lower base power than Close Combat, but Max Knuckle can be used if you know that you're going to get the KO, like if your opponent only has a sliver of health left, and you're Dynamaxed and you just want to get +2 attack, you know, +1 from the Max Knuckle and then +1 from Chilling Neigh as well. It's a really fun strategy. I think it's a really great on GLASTRIER, and I like that my opponent is actually favoring bulk in terms of the Assault Vest because of that. I do have a little bit of inside knowledge, and by that I mean I'm just looking at the team report, and I can tell you that this GLASTRIER has been trained in max HP and max attack. And I believe it's a brave nature, but I'm not sure. It's listed as having 50 points in its speed stat, and I believe that's actually no, is that neutral nature? I don't know. I did not try and translate natures, unfortunately. It's the one thing I haven't really learned how to read in Japanese, and I really should just sit down and drill what natures are, but it's okay. Google Translate does not do a good job, but that's okay. Google Translate tries. So with the Trick Room mode of this team, I would recommend bringing the Heatran for sure, because Heatran is nice and bulky and can benefit from the Trick Room as well. It doesn't really help too much with the Pokemon that GLASTRIER is weak against, which is why you should also bring the Tapu Lele. Though just be careful, the Tapu Lele on this team is max speed, it appears to be. Max special, yeah, that's special, and max speed. So really a good way to play this could potentially be just having GLASTRIER in the back, leading Lele something, either Lele Whimsicott like I did, or maybe Lele Heatran or Lele SPECTRIER, depending on what other Pokemon your opponent has in that matchup. Ensuring that the fighting accessible Pokemon or the Pokemon that otherwise will be able to do super effective damage to the GLASTRIER are removed from the field, and then you set up Trick Room and then you sweep. If you are in a mirror situation, I'd consider bringing the Urshifu, just because the Urshifu is very strong. I mean, max attack, choice band, close combat on an Urshifu. You know, can't really mess with that. Can't protect. You're just going at that point, really. Instead of the Lele. But again, you just have to be careful about GLASTRIER. The nice thing about GLASTRIER is that with the Assault Vest, and if you decide to use your Dynamaxes more defensively, to get those defense or special defense boosts, you can take a few hits that would otherwise be super effective and knock yourself out. You just have to be careful. And the other thing I worry about a lot with GLASTRIER and Trick Room mode in particular is the fact that if your opponent can see it a mile ahead, they can usually play defensively enough to avoid that. Because your Trick Room setter is Whimsicott, and because this team has so many other options that don't necessarily rely on Trick Room as a form of speed control, and you could also just Tailwind as well, you have options, and I really like that about this team. It's very flexible. The SPECTRIER, on the other hand, admittedly, I'm saying this as someone who hasn't played as much with SPECTRIER yet. Mudshot is a form of speed control. It seems kind of weird, but it does decent ground type damage, and it will be able to, you know, get those speed drops where you need them. It's not as nice as Icy Wind because it can only hit one target at a time, but if you know what Pokemon are faster or slower ahead of time, which you kind of get a feel for as you ladder more and more with the team, you could certainly start setting up those boosts or those drops, excuse me, so that under Tailwind your Pokemon are hitting the speeds they need to hit. And I think that's why Lele and Urshifu can run those choice items so comfortably with this team. Admittedly, I might be tempted to swap Heatran out for something more bulky, like a nice Cresselia or something, so that, you know, with the speed control, and if you ever get locked into a move that's just suboptimal, you can just go ahead and afford to switch. But we'll see if we can figure out how this team works in that regard. I have a feeling my opponent has a plan for that because they did do so well on the ladder. Shadow Ball is a really good stab move. I have no idea why there's Hyper Beam here. I wish I could tell you. I'm looking at the team report, and it just says it is the cornerstone of this construction and is the Pokemon that often cuts the D-Max. It has enough firepower to defeat the swingless Dynamax Thunder with a single shot, including no lie. So if I had to attempt to translate the Google Translate, when my opponent made this team, they were expecting that the SPECTRIER is the Pokemon you most often Dynamax, and then it can one-hit a Thundurus even when I guess Intimidated doesn't make sense because it's a special Pokemon, so maybe including No Lie, Focus Sash, maybe? I don't know. If anybody knows what No Lie is, please let me know. down in the comments. Again, I still have a lot of Pokemon words to learn in Japanese, so we'll get there. But yeah, I think that running Max Strike is also a really good form of speed control. And if you're willing to Dynamax the SPECTRIER, which the builder of this team is, that does give you a way to hit both Pokemon for the minus speed. So, and yeah, I feel like that covers everything. Some questions I have, and actually let me take a look at one other thing on here. I wanted to see what my opponent had to say about the Whimsicott. So let me just see. Magical Shrine, which is the first move listed, so I'm assuming that's Dazzling Gleam, was adopted because the overall scraping and durability on this side is not very high, even if weakness insurance is activated. Weakness policy? Okay, there's no weakness policy on this team, so I'm a little bit lost there. I chose Lai Naki because it goes well with Raypos in the concept of this party. Okay, Lai, I'm assuming, is Fake Tears. That has to be Fake Tears. The Trick Room was adopted because it can return the opponent's Trick Room and can be hit from above by sticking a trill on the squid mirror, etc. Oh my god, I love Google Translate so much. Anyways, so it looks like my opponent was thinking, or the team builder was thinking that this Trick Room is more of a reversal option, but still, if you're running into an opponent that uses Tailwind and you don't want to play the Match the Tailwind games, going for a Trick Room knowing that you have GLASTRIER in the back is always a good option. So yeah, I think I'm going to stop my interpretive reading of Google Translate here. Just because we are running a little bit over than I usually do. Please try this team out. Again, Liberty Note is an amazing website, and even though you have to do a little interpretive reading of Google Translate sometimes to get the intentions behind the teams, I've always been impressed of their coverage. I mean, they basically follow every single Japanese player who is a ladder warrior, you know, someone who basically plays the ladder every month pretty competitively at a high level. And the team reports there, even though Google Translate does not do them justice, contain a lot of really good information and a lot of great inspiration for teams. So we'll play a few more games with this team this week. We may also pop over to normal Gabby to do a couple high-level games. I don't know. I need to keep playing on that cart anyway, so I might just record it. We'll see. But yeah. This video has gone on long enough. If you made it all the way to this point, let me know by pressing that like button. Believe it or not, your engagement with this video does help me keep my recommendations for Chalky very high. And for those of you who don't know, Chalky's my fiance/roommate now. So it's really fun to just troll him and be like, hey, you want to watch something on YouTube that's Pokemon related? Oh, only can watch Gabby. So I appreciate the help with that. I really do. You can also check me out on Twitch. I stream every Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. This week we're going to be doing more experimental play with other Gabby to get her up to Master Ball, in addition to focusing on my main cart for some higher competitive play. And yeah, follow me on Twitter if, I don't know, you just need more Gabby in your life. That's all I got. Have an amazing day, everybody. I'm sorry this video went on so long, but I hope it helped. I'll see you soon.